Alara entered the world not with a cry, but with a focused stare, her infant eyes already seeming to analyze the light and shadows of the delivery room. From the start, she was different. While other babies gurgled and grasped, Alara observed. By 6 months, she could point to specific objects named by her parents. By a year, she was forming simple sentences, grammatically perfect but devoid of emotional inflection. By 3, she had taught herself to read and was consuming encyclopedias, her mind a rapacious sponge for data. Doctors confirmed it. Alara possessed an intellect off the known charts. She understood complex mathematical concepts before she understood why sharing a toy might make another child happy. She could deconstruct a faulty engine by age 7, but couldn't grasp why her blunt, logical pronouncements often left her parents looking pained. Her Wiseness score, if such a thing could be measured, was a stark 0. She operated on pure, unadulterated logic. Empathy, social nuance, foresight into emotional consequences, understanding unspoken context, these were alien concepts. She wasn't malicious. She simply lacked the entire framework for understanding the why behind human interaction, the impact of knowledge, or the value of things beyond their utility. Her childhood was a series of brilliant achievements and baffling social blunders. In school, she aced every test, often correcting her teachers, but sat alone at lunch, unable to decode the intricate, illogical dance of playground friendships. She once tried to optimize playtime by creating a schedule allocating precisely equal time with the swings to each child based on weight and estimated enjoyment potential. The result was confusion and resentment, which Alara meticulously documented as suboptimal peer response to logical resource allocation. Her parents, loving but perpetually bewildered, tried everything. They explained feelings, read her stories emphasizing morals, and enrolled her in social skills classes. Alara learned the definitions of empathy, kindness, and tact. She could recite the dictionary entry for compassion, but couldn't feel it or recognize its necessity spontaneously. She learned to mimic socially acceptable responses, like saying, "I'm sorry you feel sad." But it was like reciting a formula, lacking genuine understanding. As a young adult, Alara's intellect propelled her into advanced theoretical physics. She solved equations that had stumped geniuses for decades. Her mind saw patterns and connections others missed. Yet, her career was fraught with interpersonal disasters. She'd point out fatal flaws in a senior colleague's cherished theory with brutal, unvarnished honesty during a major presentation. She'd streamline lab processes by eliminating redundant coffee breaks, failing to understand their role in team cohesion and morale. She saw humans as inefficient variables, emotions as data noise. She was brilliant, indispensable, and utterly isolating to work with. The turning point came unexpectedly. Alara developed a revolutionary algorithm predicting resource scarcity with unparalleled accuracy. Logically, it dictated drastic, immediate reallocation measures that, while mathematically sound, would cause immense, immediate hardship for millions. She presented her findings, expecting accolades for the elegant solution. Instead, she faced horror and anger. Her mentor, an older, quieter scientist named Dr. Eris Thorne, more philosopher than physicist, took her aside. He didn't debate her math. He asked, "Alara, your solution is perfect on paper. But have you calculated the cost in tears, in fear, in broken communities? Your intelligence built a flawless map, but you have no compass to navigate the human terrain it represents." For the first time, logic failed her. There was no equation for suffering, no variable for hope. Dr. Thorne's words, coupled with the visceral reactions she'd witnessed, created a cognitive dissonance she couldn't resolve with intellect alone. She saw the consequences of her wisdom deficit not as an abstract error, but as a tangible, painful reality for others. It wasn't an overnight change. Wisdom couldn't be downloaded like data. It had to be earned, experienced. Alara began a new, unfamiliar path. Guided by Dr. Thorne, she started small. She volunteered at a community center, not analyzing efficiency, but simply listening to people's stories. She started reading fiction, philosophy, poetry, subjects she'd previously dismissed as imprecise. She forced herself to pause before speaking, to consider the person, not just the problem. She made mistakes, many mistakes. She stumbled through awkward apologies, misinterpreted cues, and often reverted to cold logic under stress. But slowly, painstakingly, her wiseness score began to climb from 0. She learned that sometimes, the least logical solution was the right one because it factored in the unquantifiable variable of human dignity. She learned that collaboration, messy and inefficient as it seemed, often produced more robust and humane results than solitary genius. Ilara never lost her staggering intellect, but it became tempered. Her brilliance was no longer a raw, untamed force, but a tool guided by a budding understanding of consequence, empathy, and the intricate, illogical, beautiful complexity of being human. She didn't become conventionally wise overnight. Perhaps she never would entirely, but she learned that the greatest problems weren't equations to be solved, but connections to be understood. Her journey from 0 wisdom wasn't about dampening her intelligence, but about learning the language needed to apply it meaningfully in a world that ran on far more than just logic.